Video about salvage title and salvage vehicles. And before I start, I urge you to read the disclaimer at the description at the bottom. But I'm gonna say briefly here, I am not a lawyer, and the information provided in this video is not a legal advice. This video is intended for educational purposes only and should not be considered as a professional legal advice or guidance. Any actions taken based on this content of this video are at your own risk. So you could consult with your state, you could consult with your lawyer just to find out if you need more details to verify the information that you needed. So let's begin. Salvage title gets printed like this when the insurance company literally buys the vehicle. When they buy the car from the owner and they consider the vehicle total lost, it becomes their own property and their name comes up here as the owner of the insurance company. So they own the car and they usually sell it at the auction. So the insurance companies typically consider a car a salvage when the cost of repairing the vehicle after an accident or certain other incident exceeds a certain percentage of this value. So usually there's a threshold, and it can vary depending on the insurance company and the jurisdiction or your state. Sometimes 70% the threshold, sometimes 80, sometimes 60. It has to exceed, I will say, more than half of the value of the vehicle. And again, it depends on the insurance company how they're going to proceed with this. For an example, if the vehicle worth $10,000 before the accident and the insurance went and checked this car, the adjuster said there is a $7,000 worth of damage on the car, so that's $7,000 to a $10,000 value. For them, it's not worth into fixing this car. So they're gonna get rid of it, take it, and deal with it. They cut you a check, and they call it a day. And even if the car was not damaged at all, let's say it was a flood, or minor flood, or was vandalism, or specifically was theft. If they take the car as a theft, and the car came back, they recovered it, usually they'll take it. Almost 100% they're gonna take the car because they don't want to deal with hidden damages that the customer or the owner of the vehicle find out later that there is an issue with the car. So usually they take it if it was stolen. So again, the damages used to be a flood damage, theft recovery, fire, vandalism, you name it. There's so many different damages or accident or incidents that the insurance company consider it's total loss. So when they get the car, like I said, they print the motor vehicle, print a whole word salvage here across the title like this. When you have title like this, that means this car was not inspected yet to be safe on the road. So what happens here, this car has to be inspected, and I'm not talking about emission inspection. When I'm not talking about safety inspection, if you understand, it needs to go through a specific or a special division of motor vehicle inspection. They need to check the components of the vehicle, the airbags, if they were replaced. They need to make sure these you bought them and you paid for them. They're not stolen or anything. They want to make sure the engine is the same engine was on the vehicle, also was not replaced, or if it was replaced, they need some invoices to prove that you purchased this engine or the transmission or any suspension. So generally speaking, they will ask for receipts that you have purchased these parts and you have them installed, and usually you have to bring it from the shop, the one who was working on the car, they have to provide such information. This is to be legally registered, and then after all this checked good and they approve your inspection, this will be removed. Okay, and you're gonna have a title that has nothing on it like this, clean. The only thing you're gonna see on it is gonna be left on it. You're gonna see, and usually they leave an S on the statutes here. As you can see, they're gonna say S. So usually the title in New Jersey, they have this letter down here. If you ever bought a car and you probably notice it, or maybe you never pay attention to this, but I will show you here. They put these letters here: A for actual mileage, F for a flood, P for police, L for lemon law, and A for actual mileage, like this, the case here, and N for not actual mileage, if something wrong with the mileage or was discrepancy. Most of the time they will use N instead of A. And if the car exceeds mechanical limits, it depends on the cluster on the vehicle, so they will use M for mechanical limit that exceeds mechanical limit. As for salvage, like I was talking about just now, and T for taxi. So these stuff here, very much, it will be printed here. I'm gonna show another title how they have it printed here, and it will stay here almost forever. Again, let me see if there is one. Here is another title. It says it here. It's still here, salvage, but there's an S here. Okay, and it says salvage here. This will be removed, and most of the time they put salvage here and they put S. This is always gonna be S. The statutes. The title or type of title here, after this gets the car gets reconstructed and the past salvage inspection, usually they will put here standard, duplicate, replacement, whatever the case with this title situation happen here. So the type of title, it will change here based on the situation. Of course, here's the VIN number and the information of the vehicle. Those easy to understand. But I'm just specifically focusing on the salvage issue today. So the S will stay here as long as this car exists on the road. It's always be an S here. And this salvage will be removed again. There is another title here I was explaining just seconds ago. It says, as you see, it says M for exceeds mechanical limit, and it still says S for salvage. There is another title here, also salvage, and like you see here, it says actual miles, flood, F for a flood, and S for salvage. So those here you pay attention to, as you can see. Do the motor vehicle makes mistake? Of course they do make mistake. There is nothing bulletproof. I mean, it could be all this in and they will miss putting this one here. That's up to you how to find out. Even if you went to check the vehicle history report, you never know. So I am personally, I usually check this and I check the vehicle myself. Do I trust vehicle history report? I'm a little skeptical about that. So make sure when you get a vehicle history report, read the fine print, what they're telling you there, and then how they got the information. Because usually they get the information from insurance company, and sometimes they just get it from DMV. So there is a missing or a gray area somewhere there. That's where you need to find out. But I'm just generally speaking how to understand this title by looking at it. And usually, just thing I want to mention here, there's the owner driver license usually is written here. If you ever bought a car from the street, if you want to make sure the owner who owns the car, same person in front of you, you could check their driver license and you're going to see it here, owner driver license. If it's a company, it will be the corp code, the CC here. It says owner driver license or corp code. This is maybe more clear. Okay. So as you can see here, owner driver license or corp code. If it's a company again, like it will be their corporation number, it will be written instead of their driver license number. If the owner of the vehicle in front of you, they have a license, this number has to match their driver license. If you want to make sure you're buying from the same owner and the right person, that's something up to you. So that's just showing you what these numbers are here means. Okay, so that's very much it for salvage title. So I hope this was educational enough for you to understand the difference between salvage and a clear title. And usually, generally speaking, if there is no salvage history, usually it says only A. But again, there's always something missing in the system. I cannot trust anything. These what the titles look like when you look at it. Salvage versus S on a title only. Like here, that's very much it. So I hope this was helpful enough for you just to understand it briefly what salvage title means and what salvage vehicle means. I hope you share, like, and give me a thumb up. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.